This press conference is organized by the NEC to inform the public that election has started. How? Two, what did the Commission do? And what will the Commission do in the near future? I don't want to go into so much detail, only to brief you that an action has been taken by the national government. They deposited to us some money. And this money is given to us because the budget we presented to them is organized in a sequence. The first sequence is free election activities. These pre-election activities, they start with accommodation of the election headquarters in Juba. And then we go to the states, to the 10 states and 3 administrative areas. In the states, we will visit them very soon. When we are in the states, we will see the actual infrastructure in the state, in those 10 states. When I established them, 2015 until now, some of them have deserted, some of them have passed away, some of them are still operating in those states. Hence, we will go to the field and see exactly their structures, offices I mean, and those employees who are present there. The third one is to purchase vehicles for the commissioners to enable them moved inside here. We are happy that today, this is the second day of my declaration of civic education, which is our first priority. That the policy or the statement which has been released several times by different bodies has become now a reality, that we are going to conduct elections. And to do that, I just told you now that some funds have been released. For which purposes? For the purposes I just told you. And then we'll continue. Some of you might have heard that the budget of the Commission, the real budget, has been submitted to the Parliament by the Council of Ministers. They will approve it. And when they approve it, we will now receive funds in sequence. And then we'll go on with our program. What is our program? Our program may not be detailed to you today, but you are a part of the Election Commission to be informed that we have made election calendar, which is a draft. This draft is to be discussed, is to be explained more in a different occasion more than this, when it is passed by the stakeholders of the Commission. If we do that, then we will now begin our actual activities. This is with civic education, that election is to take place. How will it take place? It will take place in the coming sequence, which will be explained to you some months to come. And that draft begins in June. And from now on, we will be concerned to establish our structures in the headquarters and in the states, and then training the personnel which are going to run the election. Hopefully, I am thinking that the election will take place. If it will take place, the public should be informed, because the sovereignty is theirs. Sovereignty belongs to the southern citizens. And that is not enough. We want you and I will continue to awake the population, to awake the citizens, that the sovereignty is yours, fair enough. But there are procedures which ought to be fulfilled. One of them, in your Buma, your Payam, your county, your state, your name must be registered. That is voter education, which will begin in June this year. We need now, all of us, to work in collaboration. I just said a draft has been made. And that draft is to be discussed by the concerned or the stakeholders. After they confirm it, then it will be declared to you in a separate press conference. But we as a commission, we are saying that targeting the election to take place should be in June. That's where registration of voters will begin. Why? The law says registration must begin 6 months before. Yes, we will begin now in June, then we moved ahead. This is your question number one. I answered it. The resources. As I just said before, the budget is before the Council of, the Council of Ministers have passed the budget, and it is now before the National Assembly. What has been received or what has been released is a very small sum of money to cover the free activities, as I said a few minutes ago. There are two roles, my dear press people. There are roles for political leaders, and there are roles for the Election Commission. This question, I'm not the one to answer it. It is the political parties to answer this. My duty is to get the law, the election law, read it well, and then implement it as it is. It is written in the Election Act that when it remains 6 months, the registration must begin. And again, for your own consumption, in the peace agreement, it is said that when it remains 2 months, from December 22nd this year to February 22nd, 2025, election must be run. In 2015, I made some contact with the countries or nations which did election without census. What they advise is that you begin with registration of voters, 18 years or what the law of the nation says. With us, it is said that registration must begin 18 years and above. We'll do that. In our current situation, we are going to use the 2008 census. And then, to give you more, there are some discussions which the political leaders will do. In the Act, there are 332 seats. I wrote now to the Minister of Justice to discuss this and then pass it to the Assembly. When we divide it, 50% geographical, 50% PR, that is professional representation, 5% to be appointed by the elected president. When you evaluate them, they don't come together. It needs a legal step to be done. So, registration will be the only method we will do from the Buma to Payam, then we go until to the state headquarters. Types of election to be conducted. There are two issues now which are going around. The first virtue, according to us as the technical people, and according to peace agreement, it is said that general elections will be conducted. General election will be conducted within this period of December 24 to February 25. Now, there are discussions going on in the political parties which are concerned about peace. They are now negotiating either to go for partial election or we go in for the general election. However, the decision they will take, this is where we will be abide for it, then we follow it. But if you see now the voting process, which everybody knows, one day you can vote for the president, vote for the National Assembly, vote for the governors, vote for the state assembly. One day you can do these things. This will relieve the nation from the burden of conducting other issues, time to come. However, it is not my decision as a chair, it is the decision of political leaders to go for elections, and there are parties which are saying that we are not ready to go for the elections. Let me draw your attention, all of you, to the peace agreement. The peace agreement says that when it remains 2 months, that is December 2024 to February, election will be conducted. These are the peace parties which agreed on peace. So it is the debate, the political parties, to accept, not to accept is not my concern. It is their concern. And there's a debate now going on. I can't answer that. They will answer it. But my law, my function is to implement the law, Election Act, and then the peace agreement. Coming to constituencies, I just told you a few minutes ago that the Act said that there are 332 seats. And I gave you how they are divided. There are some irregularities inside there. So I wrote to the Minister of Justice to consolidate this or pass it to the Council of Ministers on its way to the Parliament, which they will resolve. Otherwise, we have also suggested in the draft before that we can use 2010 constituencies, which is 102 seats by that time. So the debate is going on. The decision will be taken by them, not by us. What I would like to tell you is this. The issue of registration, and by the way, I don't want to be blamed later on, to be told, why did you not put this? You know, the peace agreement 2018 said the census, the constitution, and so on must be done before that time. All of us, we were seeing the time is going on. For me as the chairperson, I said, no, let us make a hold that by June 2024, registration will take place. This is to be heard by all Southerners. If, and then the law is with me, it says when it remains 6 months, registration must start. The issue of fair, free, is a very nice one. And you are the youth, many of you here are the youth. And it is your duty to explain to our masses, wherever they are, that the chance has come to us, that the power is returned to the citizens. If it is returned to the citizens, it must be done better than before. We want to show to the world that we are mature enough, we are responsible enough, and we care for our own nation. And to do that is to register your name freely. Nobody will interfere with you. Is to come to the polling station freely. You vote for your candidate without intimidation or interruption. If we do that, my dear youth, then we have saved the country. And I appeal to you right now that the messages you are sending around, let them contain this, that Southern Sudan is being watched by the world. And if it is being watched by the world, we want to show to them that we are mature enough, we are responsible enough, we are capable enough to do our own issues. And I'm happy with the Yakan whom I saw some minutes ago here. They were very good. This man talks facts. And if he talks facts, that is the actual role of the civil society. I was asked in 2010 to give a lecture about civil society. So I did the research and I presented it. A very old person, a senior man, congratulated me that this is good. Now it is their role, the civil society, the youth, the women organization, the population generally, to see to it that a chance has been given to them. They must receive this chance and use it peacefully. Now, if we run our election peacefully, the world will know that Southern Sudan has the right to fight for their own independence, which they have done. If we vote like what we did during the referendum Yakani, this will be a very good soap to clean us, to confirm that we were ready to rule ourselves, to confirm to the world that we are capable to run our own nation. And I believed with this standard you are in, you can be capable to spread to the people. Even those who are killing people on the road, insecurity, why should you fight? Time for fight has been has already gone. It is time now for you to practice your democratic right given to you by the law. I am here to implement the law. I am here to apply it in a very genuine, scientific manner. And by the way, if you come next Thursday, you select into the lecture hall in Yamajuba, you will see that this is not a Akok of the Election Commission. Because that place, few students, and I'm given the right by the international law to say anything there. But here, what I will say is something I can be capable to do. Go to the communities, register your name, wait for some months. When those months come, you go and cast your vote freely. And I pray always to the Lord, Lord, give me wisdom, give me strength to do this job, to fulfill it, to conclude it peacefully. What do we mean by free, fair, transparent, impartial, inclusive? It is application of the law. And to do this, you must register your name freely. Nobody should be deprived not to register her or his name by law. 2, when times come for voting, he or she is allowed to cast his vote secretly. And that's why I'm talking to you now. And it is your role as youth or as a media to propagate this. And furthermore, by the way, I appeal to you, and I have been doing this, that all of you should read the act. You should read the act. Why I said so? In 2015, when I declared the election, the Speaker of the Assembly wrote to me, Professor Akok, come to the Assembly and explain, why did you declare the election date? I went there. I said, my dear brother, who am I to declare the election? It is not me. It is the act, and here it is. I don't want that situation to happen again with us. Then I told him, now this has been done. Number 2, when it remains 50 days, the president will dissolve all the assemblies and the government. Really? I said, yes. He said, go. I left the office. Some days later on, the extension and the extension until now. You know what is very important now? It's not my role alone. It is your role as Southern Sudanese. We have achieved, we have acquired our independence. Now we want to establish a system, a democratic system. How do we do that? To do that, we must respect the law of the nation. We must implement the law of the nation. And to do this is to register your name. When I went to 2010, I got some generals there in a funeral place. One of them came and he spoke. He excited the mourners. He said that if you vote for unity, I'll go and fight for another 20 years. If you vote for separation, then you have made this man to be alive. I was to close the occasion. When I spoke, they didn't pay attention. I told them, okay, now I am a lecturer. I will tell you some secret in the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. It is said that if you register your name and you go to another station, then you have voted for unity, you have reduced the number. You must register and remain there and cast your vote, then you are okay. They clap their hands. What I need from you people of the press, and you can see now in my face, I am happy that God gave me the strength, that God lead me to do this national duty. The political struggle among the political parties is not my duty. The struggle they are doing is not my duty. My duty is guided by the National Election Commission Act, which says the National Election Commission is here to make a statement, the National Election Commission is mandated by the laws of South Sudan to conduct general election before the end of the transitional period in 22nd February 2025. This is authority now, guided by law. What can you do within this period? Hence, it is not me alone, it is all of us. We are seeing the time going, years going, and we are just keeping quiet. Now, we are left with a very condensed period. To me, if we are serious, we will do it. How? If all of us here can go to our constituencies and we register our names and we tell people that you go for registration, is it not possible? As I said before, the responsibility is ours all. I think the issue of 6 million or what amount of money given to you, given to us, I don't think that is the actual amount. He just gave you an information a few minutes ago. That is now being processed. We want to get the actual figure. But I thought you are educated people. You will know that this is a small amount released to start the work. The actual one is to be passed by the National Assembly. Then from there, that's where you will begin to know exactly what amount is there. Our interest is not the amount. Our interest is the commitment. The commitment that this is what we have done for the election to start. And if you remember what I said a few minutes ago, that when they pass the budget, they should be consistent. They should be consistent in delivering to us resources. Well, I just said in my introduction before that the little money which we have received is to be used for the visits to the 10 states and administrative areas to confirm two things: to see the infrastructure there, their offices there, and the number of people who are still there, because some of them have died, some of them have gone away, and so on. So we are not very late. We'll do our best. Now we have already planned that, and I did that in 2015. 2015, I thank God very much. I went to Bor, I went to Malakal, I went to Unity State. This time, another new team will go. There are more than 4 or 5 teams. Not 4, 3 teams. The one for Equatoria, the one for Bahr-el-Ghazal, one for Upper Nile. They will go like that. In Unity State, our interest there is to go and see who are present there. Where are their offices? We'll do that, no problem at all. The Act has stated 332 seats. Now, these 332 seats, if you divide them, 50% geographical, 50% PR, 5% appointed by the president. They don't match. And we wrote to the Minister of Justice that there is something very complicated. We need law confirmation. They will discuss that. And we made our suggestion in the draft calendar we talked about it a few minutes ago, that if it is difficult, let us repair to 2010 constituencies. And they are there. So it also needs a political decision. So people are following up these things. There are 2 procedures. Procedure 1 is to get the money from the Council of Ministers who are mandated by law. And this money is very little. So the Council of Ministers can release some funds to institutions which are in urgent need. So if we wait for the Parliament, time is going. And I said before, we have left April and May. Then we start in June, say that within this period, duties are made, functions are made relating to the election. To the campaign, those parties who are campaigning. The campaign has so many stages. Anybody can now go and address a rally in a funeral place or in a marriage place. Then he will say, we are ready for election. We cannot interfere with them, because he is confirming to his constituents that he is ready to go for election. I have no quarrel with that. But we are to go with the law that the campaign will be officially open according to the law and officially closed. When people are going for polling, no more campaign. Only to cast your vote. So we are very careful about that. And what is happening is not an open campaign. It is a guided one. It is a message to the listeners, like what His Excellency Bakasoro said in this building one day during the civil society conference. He said, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. That is his statement. I cannot interfere with them. So, again, you go back and read the act. We are going for election. If we are going for election, our media should be so consistent. Our media should be so concerned to use proper, peaceful language. Our media, particularly now, should use culture of peace. Our media should promote culture of peace. Culture of peace is defined as the set of ideas, attitudes, behaviors which reject violence, and they encourage what? Dialogue. And under the culture of peace, there are 8 domains. And one of the domains is democracy. Hence, the media should promote what? Democracy in our country. If you do that, you have helped your nation. You have helped yourself, not me. Our interest is to see to that our nation is stable. Our nation has changed, and I said this in my speech before the president, that it is a chance now for citizens to practice their own democratic rights according to the Constitution and according to the National Election Commission Act. Hence, I really thank the press who came today to exchange these good ideas. May God bless you all. Amen.